We're going to start with Manchester City. We're going to talk about Phil Foden. Of course, we're going to bring in Mark here because everyone talks about this natural talent that he has. Is he finally getting the numbers to match then?
Yeah, once again, Phil Foden, brilliant last night. Another incredible performance for the 23-year-old. He's having his best ever season, and that is reflected in the numbers as well. 6 goals in his past 5 Premier League games and his 3rd hat-trick in the Premier League. The same amount as Ronaldo, Lampard and Drogba. Not bad company to keep, is it? Let's take a look at the numbers as we mentioned there. So 22-23 played 32 games in the Premier League, 1,843 minutes. You can already see he's actually played a similar number of games this season. However, he's got considerably more minutes, more goals, 11-14, more assists, 5-7. And you can see, once again, shots on target. He's having more opportunities in and around the box. He's creating more chances. The pass completion is completely different as well. And the possession one high up the pitch, you can see 91-113. So in every single element of his game, he is having a more effective season, and he is a huge part of what Pep Guardiola is doing at the moment. Let's look at the heat maps, because this gives you a real indication as to how much things have changed for Phil Foden, particularly with his positioning. You can see last season in the Premier League, mostly operating down that left-hand side, a little bit out on the right, but generally you can see all of the activity for Phil Foden was on that left-hand side. As a left footer, he was down that left channel. This season, though, completely different. You can see in the Premier League, he's playing more so on the right-hand side. So he's coming off that right-hand channel infield. He's picking up more central roles than perhaps he's ever done. And that's something that perhaps would lead to those extra numbers. So you can see the difference between the two heat maps as to how effective he is. Obviously, you have to bear in mind as well, no Kevin De Bruyne. So perhaps he's had that opportunity to play a little bit more centrally for Manchester City. But no question, he has been absolutely superb. And the scary thing is, he can get even better at just 23 years old. So my question, I guess, to Michael is, what a treat it must be for Pep Guardiola to have a player like him at his disposal who can play in multiple positions. But how impressed have you been with the way he comes off that channel and plays centrally?
Oh, he's been outstanding. There's no getting away from that. You look at, like you say, the numbers, and he wants to get into that 10 position. I think De Bruyne's injury sort of helped Phil get his minutes, but he's taken his opportunity. I think he's justifying why 2 or 3 years ago there's a big clamour that Pep had to let him go on loan. He needs to get minutes, but he's learning under the best manager in the world, and he knew this moment was going to come. And he's not an out-and-out winger. He doesn't want to drop his shoulder and get down the outside. He wants to find those pockets and those little half spaces. And his goals last night, his work rate, his enthusiasm for the game, he's a joy to watch.
He absolutely is, and a joy to watch when he's playing for England as well. But there's a big question here, isn't there? Heading into the Euros, if you were Gareth Southgate, would you be trying everything to get in those positions for England in particular?
I think that's the tough question. You've got Jude Bellingham, who's obviously the out-and-out 10, so whether they can try and lopside it, that they push a full-back high and they can bring him in off the line and keep Saka out wide. It's because we know Gareth likes his 2 pivots. So whether you can mould the back 4 into a 3 and bring him in with Jude, because that'll be some players, those 2 10s with a Harry Kane down the middle and Saka on the wides. It's mouthwatering thinking about it, but how you fit them into the system that Gareth wants to, that's the really tough bit.
How does he compare to Jude Bellingham? Is he right up there with him now? I've seen a bit of buzz on social media, maybe I think from City fans, he's better than Bellingham at the moment.
I think they're both pretty good players. I think Jude's what he's done, his rise has been so quick and so seamless almost. And he's just walked into a Real Madrid team and become the top man. And what was he, I think, 20, 21 years old. So I think they're different types of players, but
true.
Their product and their end quality is second to none.
Okay. I want to talk about Jack Grealish. It was another encouraging performance for both Guardiola and Southgate, of course. His first Premier League start, though, in 2024. A much-needed 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's in a key stage of the season. He's a £100 million winger. He's had a really frustrating season. Yeah. Just can't seem to get a run of games going. But you can see he's as good as anybody on his day. He's unplayable at times. And with the games that they've got coming up, the importance, the Champions League coming and the fact that he's got that 90 minutes in is just it's another string to Pep's bow, which is frightening for everyone else in the league.
It's so frightening. They could just win the title again. There could be 4 in a row, could be another treble, couldn't it? Let's talk about the title race. Can you see them going on a perfect run?
Yeah. I think they could win every league game this season. Obviously, Real Madrid's a different opposition, different competition. But, you know, I went to the Man City Real Madrid game last year and they absolutely dismantled them. So they can do that again. And their run of form that they're on, they seem to be timing it perfectly. The experience that they've got, you've got young players getting better. You got fit they've just beaten Aston Villa with no Kyle Walker, no John Stones, rested De Bruyne, goalkeeper. Haaland didn't play, so it's and dismantled Aston Villa. So it's scary for the rest of the league at the minute.
It is, isn't it? You mentioned Villa there. I mean, they are in still pole position for 4th, despite City sweeping them aside. They've been sublime. Spurs just 2 points behind them now, and with a game in hand. Unai Emery, I mean, he has done a wonderful job. He's had lots of injuries to deal with right now, unfortunately. How hard is it as a manager? Because it's such a crucial stage of the season. This is when you want everybody available at your disposal, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that's why you saw so many changes in the games last week. In this midweek. It's probably the last chance you're going to get an opportunity to rest a few players because of the importance of the European games kicking back in. You need a little bit of luck. What Unai Emery's done at Aston Villa in the last couple of years has been absolutely amazing. Where they've come and where they are, the fact they're even in the conversation for the top 4. But Anish has done the same thing at Tottenham. It's a mouth-watering prospect for the Champions League places and the title.
It is. I mean, the title race is so close and so exciting. They've got this battle at the bottom, but this race for 4th as well has been so intriguing, hasn't it? When you mention Spurs there, of course, as well. Do you think Villa just have the edge, or do you think Spurs have more pressure that they're expected to do it? Who do you think will get 4th?
I think they're both there now, so I don't think they really care who's most pressure on. It's every game, every result with the social media and everything now. It's you lose a game, you're out of it. I think Pep said it this morning. Last week they were out of the title race because they drew with Arsenal, and now they're going to win it. It's so reactive, but the fact that they're both in it and giving themselves big opportunities, they're in the driving seat in terms of ahead of teams like Man United. So they'll be going all out to get that last spot.